So Ben here says I'm wrong about Paolo Maldini's quote, "If I have to make a tackle, I've already made a mistake." That he's not talking about when you're defending to delay and control the defender instead of lunging in to steal the ball. He thinks that Maldini was saying it's all about positioning and preventing the attacker from ever receiving the ball at all. And he cited a source. So let's look at this amazing source. So for starters, his amazing source is a trash rag, The Sun, one of the worst tabloids in all of Great Britain. And it does talk about how Maldini was such a good defender, he didn't need to make tackles. Let's look at the rest of the article. So at first glance, it looks like one of the greatest defenders not making many tackles is kind of weird because you think of great tackles as being one of the things that makes you a great defender. But he only averaged 0.56 challenges per game during his career. Maldini achieved what he did without ever needing to lunge in. Sounds like they're actually talking about what I was saying. And it goes on to point out that Xabi Alonso also echoed this opinion. Ben also stated that Alonso agrees with him and disagrees with me, by the way. So let's look at what Xabi Alonso said. I don't think tackling is a quality. It is something you have to resort to, not a characteristic of your game. I can't get into my head that football development would educate tackling as a quality, something to learn to teach a characteristic of your play. How can that be a way of seeing the game? I don't understand football in those terms. He goes on that tackling is a last resort. You will need it, but it isn't a quality to aspire to, a definition. It's hard to change because it's rooted in English football culture, but I don't understand it. And that's Xabi Alonso's take. Once again, it seems that Alonso is actually agreeing with me and not Ben once again. But the article goes on to talk about Paolo Maldini once again, and this is the closest thing to almost agreeing with Ben's take. To read the game like he did, to break it up the play and start an attack with his ability to pass the ball without ever needing to tackle like he did. There really is nothing in this article that actually supports Ben's statement. So was I wrong about Paolo Maldini and Ben correcting me for it? No, not at all. In fact, I was 100% right and Ben is disagreeing with me because that's what he does. He doesn't like reality and he likes disagreeing, so he's going to make a stupid comment in my comment section. That's what he does. That's the one thing he's good for in this entire world. And even the idea that it was all about positioning and preventing the attacker from ever receiving the ball is a fantasy position. It's not a realistic position as a defender. You simply cannot deny an attacker to receive the ball every single time. It's not humanly possible. What Maldini was talking about is the exact point that I made in my video. Your goal as a defender is not to lunge in and win a tackle immediately. Tackling is what you do when you have no better options. You have to make a play to stop the player from getting beyond you and creating a goal-scoring opportunity. In all these other situations, you're much better off containing, channeling them away from the goal or into your supporting defenders, which is exactly the points that Paolo Maldini was making. Not to mention there are ways to take the ball off players that aren't actually tackles, because attackers, when you're patient, will make mistakes, lose possession, and then you can simply get your body in between them and the ball without actually having to put in a tackle. So, was I wrong and Ben correct? No, as usual. Ben was wrong. His own source didn't agree with him, and I was correct again.